So we're going to convert the English over to the original Hebrew and then use gematria to convert those letters back over into numbers. So if we take the phrase tree of life, depending on the calculator that we use, we come up with the number 66. What's interesting about this is that 66 is a harmonic of the number 528, if we think of this in musical terms. So in other words, we're going to look at the number 66 as a frequency, and then we're going to double that frequency to get a harmonic, and we come up with 528. So we look in the literature, and interestingly enough, what we see is that a frequency of 528 hertz has been used to regenerate damaged DNA. So incredibly, embedded into the story of Genesis and the story of the tree of life is numerical information that tells us how to regenerate damaged DNA. There is no way that could have been known thousands of years ago, if we believe in the way history was telling us. But let's look at some clinical studies, because this is actually very interesting. We're in California. I thought some of the men here might be interested in knowing how do you elevate testosterone, right? It's not summer, but we are still in California. So there's not a local Radio Shack, I think, that's open anymore where you can go out and get a frequency generator. But you men, you might want to know 528 hertz elevates testosterone production. Pretty cool. So this is an example of how we're using energy to control the biochemistry of the body, not necessary to get external injections of testosterone. Another example, if we use a different way to calculate the tree of life number, it comes up with 159. Now, in this example, what we're going to want to do is convert that over into a wavelength of light. And you can do this very simply with an online calculator. There's a very well-known formula for converting frequencies over into nanometers, and light is in the nanometer range. So in this particular case, we convert the tree of life frequency over into a wavelength of light, and we come up with 857 nanometers. Why is that significant? Well, research has shown in this band of light that this activates mitochondrial energy. And time again, what's been demonstrated in clinical studies is that one of the principal reasons why we age is because of a decline in mitochondrial function. In fact, when we restore mitochondrial function to a young, healthy state, we see the age of the cell become younger. So again, incredibly embedded into the Holy Bible, in the story of the tree of life, is frequency and light information that we can use to improve our quality of life by restoring mitochondrial function, and have a key in understanding how we can stop and reverse human aging.